Hello and welcome back to Spect.
Now, you might be aware that the Warhammer 9th edition is rapidly on its way, and we're seeing some beautiful animations, scintillating story tie-ins, models, and all the hype surrounding new systems, the rules, the cleanup, everything. And my wallet trembles at the fear of soon being overused. This new Warhammer 9th edition is meant to be a collection for not just design ideas, but also takes massive input from the awesome community that have been following this niche grimdark for years. New ideas, new concepts, new models. They keep saying new. But how new and shiny is Warhammer 9th edition really? I feel now is the right time to talk about the Warhammer 9th edition. You might have noticed that I've remained really quiet on this, and I've been intentionally avoiding the most hype related channels, you know, the ones encouraging you to sell a kidney on the dark web just to get that new precious. I say mostly as I still want to see that shiny stuff too. But I want to come to my own decision about buying this new system. Taking time to really look at it and see if I want to buy it, that's the key of what I'm doing here. At least then my wallet will appreciate that I took some time to think about buying stuff, even if it's just a token gesture, because, you know, new stuff. So far everything looks great, but for some reason I'm still hesitant. I'm not hesitant because of a change of edition. I mean, let's make this clear. I've considered the 9th edition was arriving since Abaddon eyed Vigilus. I've been expecting it like getting a curry stain on your white shirt on a big night out. It's going to happen. We've seen Primaris Bikers, they had already been leaked, and I even thought that these would have been released when the Speed War hit Vigilus. Alongside the return of the Khan, because you can't have Primaris Bikers without Khan. But look, if you've seen my previous videos, you know, and I even hoped at this point they will finally give me my Primaris Tech Marine. When you look at the Necron release and the designs, they look awesome. They are absolutely beautiful. I mean, even the monolith looks like it's got some kind of giant resurrection orb on top of it. I don't know what it's going to do, but either way, I'm going to buy them because they'll be great with my Blood Angel 9th Legion. I have even been waiting for the new Silent King model since November 2019. But I'm still hesitant because I feel like I've seen this all before. I'm talking about the initial model design and the structure of the 9th game system and how it's not so new. And if we actually look at another current game system, we might even know what to expect. Wait, hold the outrage. Now before you say nothing under the sun is new spec, it's just an upgrade to 8th edition and everything is compatible. Hold on a moment. Don't you think that's just a little strange? If it's just a small change, then why not call it Warhammer 8.5? In the past, Games Workshop has changed each iteration of Warhammer 40k enough that each system launches with a new rulebook with the promise of milking your wallet for cash with a new codex too. The thing that normally stays the same are the models. Now this time I believe two things are changed to shift the overall dynamic of this 9th edition Warhammer release. First, there's one thing we need to acknowledge. Once it's understood, this becomes a little bit easier to link, and it's about priming. Not the spraying of the models before we start painting them or Optimus Prime's morning routine, I'm talking about the psychology. The implicit memory effect in which exposure to a stimulus influences response to subsequent stimulus. In other words, showing one object that's closely related to another, like a doctor and a nurse, has relational causes. So people tend to think of the next thing even before you make mention of it, or that it's so similar that they normally run in conjunction. Things like orcs and war, ultramarines and smurfs. Okay, maybe not the last one, but when it comes to the 9th edition of Warhammer, we have been primed since November 2019. Now, knowing what priming is, you could argue that we've been primed since Warhammer Fantasy. For a more specific correlation to the current system of 8th to 9th, I want to have a look at Age of Sigmar. When Age of Sigmar first came out in July 2015, they did something totally new for that system and introduced a single model combat based game versus the standard unit block system that it was known for. They moved the lore forward and they gave you two new armies, the Stormcast Eternals and the Khorne Demonkin for the starting box set. The rules for that system are super easy to learn. 4-page rule system was all that was needed. They even included 3 PDF battle scrolls for all of the models still valid for the game that allowed you to play all of them. Games Workshop did what they thought would be an awesome move to refresh and update an old game system. Now, one thing they didn't take into account is that most people got upset that Games Workshop had taken the whole history and the lore of the world that had been using for almost 25 years and just deleted it. Thanos snap. There was a lot of backlash and it became very much like Marmite. The game system was not balanced. No, not having rules for many older armies combined with not having a point system to buy your army with for a game system based on points made no sense. I mean, what kind of heresy is this? That outrage forced Games Workshop to do something new, and that was to listen to the community, and they did. Within 2 years they produced a General's Handbook with points for every single model, an FAQ if you will. They would also go on to take feedback and produce General Handbook 2 with more updates for model points, costs and battle plans too. And they did also again for 2018. They even produced large monster leader models with fantastic designs, and almost everyone got one. Even each army got one. A special event took place in June 2018 called Malign Portents. It was a world campaign set in the Age of Sigmar realms where everyone would play a game at their local store and send in the results. They in turn would send them on to the game designers to shape the outcome of the overall story. But it was more than that. It was a 1.5 version of the game due to Nagash reclaiming souls from the realms and the Black Pyramid. Sounds familiar, but anyway. It was a big shake-up for that system, as most of the core rules have changed. Stats remain the same, but magic moved to the forefront, and it dominated the realms. We got to see endless spells hit the board, which are physical manifestations of magic on the tabletop of Warhammer universe. Within that same month of June 2018, they released Soul Wars box set, the official 2.0 version of Age of Sigmar. It sold really well and introduced new models and new battle tomes, known as codexes for those which follow 40k, but it also emptied wallets. So by Games Workshop listening to the customers, they gained a lot of money. Now using that to make the comparison, we could see that Age of Sigmar's success made them become the testbed of 40k. I mean, if the model of success worked once, then why not just do so again? Games Workshop could try new things in Age of Sigmar system without losing the massive Warhammer 40k following. This worked so well that they announced a release date June 17th 2018 for Warhammer 8th edition. The 8th edition was a major revision intended to make it easier for new players to enter the hobby. They reduced the rules to 6 pages, just like the same kind of reduction from Age of Sigmar. 40k Warhammer 8th edition even had its own version of Arcane Bolt, which was Smite. And that's a generic spell that every spellcaster / psyker knows that inflicts 1d3 mortal wounds. Big monster leader models were also produced within months of the new set, just like the Sigmar Star Drake and the Lord Celestant Prime. 40k got Rabute Gilliman and a giant Mortarion. Warhammer 40,000 8th edition even launched with indexes that had the points cost for each army so everyone could start to play right away. It was the same with Age of Sigmar, except they did it even quicker. Chapter Approved was also released within a year, December 2018. And it gave you the same kind of information that's in the General's Handbooks. And this continued like for like within a 2-year time lead. And if we continue that pattern, moving to the current time frame, we just recently had the Psychic Awakening series, which is equivalent of the Malign Portents, which we've seen previously, except this involves the whole galaxy and uses the sci-fi version of magic users, which are psychers. And if we keep following that same release pattern from Age of Sigmar, the 9th edition Warhammer should be with us within a month of the last Psychic Awakening book. Overall, due to the success of Age of Sigmar, I think we'll see a lot more similarities in the future, and to be honest, I think the 40k 9th edition would also add some kind of hero phase to sort out most of the buffs in game, set up auras, and to deal with minor movements, etc. Just like in Age of Sigmar 2. We might even see some ultimate powers, a version of the endless spells running on the board. Oh, and you know I mentioned there was two things? Well, after all of that, Games Workshop released a massive bone-based undead army with glowing green eyes, silently coming back to life, taking revenge upon their enemies. We even got a massive dice of the king on a base with multiple models. Yes, that's right. The Osark Bone Reapers, released in November 2019. The concept is almost identical to the new Necron release. Admittedly, the Necrons was first, but all the new Necron models look similar enough for me to feel that the new models from the Necrons don't really look that new. It was a really clever move for Games Workshop to get some of that sweet hobby crossover. I mean, like, look, I'm still gonna buy them either way. But at least it won't be due to the hype.
And it's not because I've been primed, it's because Games Workshop are actually been listening to what the players want in a new edition of Warhammer 40k. And I believe that the way they followed the Age of Sigmar success pattern, they will do the same for Ninth. And I'm excited to see what they've got.
This has been Spect,
And these are my thoughts on the upcoming 9th edition and what may be.
and if you like this style of content, let me know in the comments and subscribe if you're interested in more. I also have a lot of variety of tabletop hobby bits on the channel that you might like, and that I'll be covering in the future. And as always, I've enjoyed my time and I hope you've enjoyed yours. And as always, PC out.